We started Indo European Business Forum in 2007, and by then every year we do many events. We must have done more than 10 events here. Always Baroness Verma and Ashok ji supported the event. We always had our founder member Mr. GP Hinduja every year coming and supporting the event. Now he's a little bit unwell, but his blessings are with us. His family members were supposed to come, Rituji was supposed to come, but last minute something came up. So we have, the purpose of Indo European Business Forum was to promote business between India and UK and Europe. And we felt today is the best time. So much of turmoil happening in the world because of the tariff, up and down. Now this is a chance for India to come more closer to UK and Europe. And this event is the purpose of bringing people together and making sure the network happen. The organization we created not for profit. We never made a single penny profit. The always was to recover the cost, to keep going, to make people aware about us, to make people do business between UK and India, to create a policy, create a buzzword. That's about us. In this screen, we are trying to show some of our members. We have Mr. Anil Agarwal of Vedanta, we have SP Lohia of Indorama, we have many House of Lords, many Member of Parliament, many Member of earlier European Parliament, those been supporting us. And we have Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Shinde, we have Chief Minister of Goa, they spoke online, but we had Prime Minister of Malta, the Nick Clegg, Deputy Prime Minister of UK at the time. So we have, in the last more than 10 years, number of very high-powered speakers coming and speaking on the event. And today is also in this contest on the Indo European Business Forum, one of our members from India is bidding for British Steel. So we do a lot of work behind the scene as well. We make sure we put the right kind of people together. Dr. Madan is also here from IFCL. In his leadership in the olden time, we have done more than $3 billion of work. The money was lended by the organization. We were involved on the legal side. More than 10 renewable power projects, the largest one in India, were done in his guidance, and we were part of that. So we have done, and this Sustainability Summit is trying to bring the people together, and I would like to thank Baroness Verma and Ashok ji, Minister Kanishka Narayan for coming today. We have Vivek Sarauki, who brought he's the president of Indian Chartered Accountant Association, and he brought many of the members together. Mr. Max Harris, and coming from British Ford, we have Sandeep Sali and Trupti Sali for supporting the event. We will be having a Sachidanand Upadhyay ji. He is bringing $1 billion IPO in India into renewable and Medicap. And my friend Alexandra Sasha, she came all the way from Europe. She is from Danish Parliament. And we have Mr. Shashank Gupta. He is from Empire Energy. We have Mr. Jacobo Pombo. He came all the way from the event. He is running a global youth leadership forum around the world. We have Ramesh Arora ji, very close family friend, always supporting the event. And we have Suresh Mangalagiri ji and Balbir ji supporting the event, and my team, and Cyrus Rasti from Hinduja Group.
And I'm a former candidate to the European Parliament. When I was here a year and a half ago, I was the candidate for the European Parliament. I still remember speaking here. So it's great to be here, and thank you once again for the invitation. As Vijay correctly said, I got elected to be the first deputy to the Danish Parliament almost 3 years ago now. And my main policy was around sustainability and businesses. I'm myself an entrepreneur, and coming from the private sector, you understand how much you both need to engage with the government, but you also need to have, sustainability has to be economically sustainable. You have to create great investment opportunities, because sustainability without that is just not gonna exist. So I've actually been very close with both the UK Embassy in Denmark and the Indian Embassy in Denmark. They're my closest, I would say, embassies that I've engaged with. And under that umbrella, I would like to be on a positive note and highlight a few collaborations between those countries that have been really good in the last few years. One of them is between UK and Denmark. It's called the Viking Link, and it's the largest ever offshore, it's called onshore and submarine interconnector, which covers over 750 kilometers. And it has been created in December 2023. So these are one of those amazing collaborations that got executed between government and the private sector between two countries. So I can say Mera naam Alexandra hai, and I study Hindi now. That's nothing to do with the Danish Parliament at all. But I have my first visit to India was on you could say a kind of a government trip. It was organized by the Indian Embassy. And it was a lot what is to do because Denmark and India has a green strategic partnership, which was created in 2020. And under that umbrella, there's been a lot of engagements within, especially offshore wind. And last summer, there was a hydrogen project. So I think these more governmental bilateral agreements really do promote businesses in existing expertise to be shared, but at the end of the day, it's always, I feel, the private sector that pushes it through. And from a policy making point of view, on a little challenge note that I've been seeing and politicians have been seeing in the EU, when I was touring around last year in my European Parliament elections, I met with a lot of CEOs of big companies, including Vestas, which is one of the biggest wind company in the world, actually. And the biggest issue was the power grid system. And that is still something that is more in a policy-making point of view, but also maybe for you to, you're probably all aware of it, but that has been a big issue, the power grid systems, and with the increasing security issue we're seeing in the world, the power grid system is something that is really lacking. And when I had a meeting with an EU commissioner, I asked her what's one of the biggest issues now. She said the power grid system.
Warm welcome to everyone here as well. It is technically in the Lords, so Baroness Verma is rightly placed to welcome you, but it's great to have everyone in Parliament here today. Let me follow Vijay's guide, because as Baroness Verma rightly said, he's a man who achieves a huge amount, but does so in an understated way, and I think politicians can learn a lesson or two about under-promising and over-delivering, given the usual habit of doing the opposite. But I want to start by firstly saying a big thank you, because thank you in particular to Vijay and his team. I have attended only a small number of the many events that he's hosted, given the recency of my appointment, but in each instance I have found the richest set of conversations, opportunities, and a willingness to try and make things happen, for which I'm very grateful, and today is a great example of that. Can I also thank Baroness Verma, because it feels to me very consistently that across a number of years, what you've done, Baroness Verma, for relationships between the India, UK and European business communities has been remarkable, and I think we all stand on the shoulders of giants, and you're very much one of them, and I hope you'll feel that even though it may not be quite your government, it is very much our government, because we're taking a huge amount of what you've achieved in thinking about where the future goes, and I know you're very closely involved still in deepening Indian and UK relationships.
Pleasure and privilege to be able to be here today at this really important event. And to be quite frank, first and foremost, I need to thank Vijay Goel and all of his team from the Indo European Business Forum to a day. But Vijay has been at the forefront of the Indo Business Forum, because it is really, really important that gatherings like this bring together people from often across the globe, but very often from different sectors, that manage to have a conversation in a room just like this. And this room, I don't know what that monstrosity out there is, but it's sort of spoiling our view a bit. But this is the Chumley room, the terrace. The Chumley room is out there. And it hosts so many events. And to be quite frank, me, my parliamentarian colleagues, are really privileged to be able to work in a place like this every single day Parliament is open. Now, for those of you who don't know my history, I'm just going to run through it very quickly. I was a minister in David Cameron's government as the Minister for Energy and Climate Change. So this topic is incredibly important for me. It is a topic of sustainability, of renewable energies, and of all the good things that we should be doing to a planet that slowly but surely we are destroying. And if we have anything left to give as a legacy to those that come after us, it is how do we manage that decline? because it's on a road, sadly, of destruction. Now, friends, of course, but taking back some actions. Your call for actions are what you want to do, and for you to ask governments of where you respectively come from to do. In the UK, we are a small country, but we really do punch way, way above the size. We are great innovators. We want to partner with companies and countries. And whether this government, it's not my government, but I can tell you one thing, for the interests of the country, I work really, really collaboratively with my colleagues. And the reason for that is no one political party is going to manage this on its own. So we may as well grow up, have a grown-up conversation, throw out some of the stupid.
So, thank you for the introduction. Just a bit about Associated British Ports to begin with, but then I'd like to talk about the role of ports in enabling the energy transition, enabling sustainable outcomes, but also enabling innovation in climate technologies. Something that Associated British Ports, or ABP, is doing our utmost to support. So ABP is the largest ports group across the UK. We have 21 ports around the coastline of England, Wales and Scotland. We support over £157 billion worth of trade, both imports and exports, each year, which represents around a quarter of the UK's trade with other nations. So we play a really critical role in enabling the flow of goods, critical to our livelihoods, both personally but also from a business perspective. So we have an important role to play in keeping Britain trading, and that's been our mission for a number of years. But recently we signalled an expansion of our mission as a business. So as well as keeping Britain trading, we also signalled that we are enabling the energy transition, because we undertook a review of our business and our customers and realised that actually fundamental to our growth as a business is supporting the decarbonisation of existing industries and supply chains, but also supporting scaling the rapid growth of clean energy industries.
Closer to the consumer and then providing these microgrid solutions. This is a very, very interesting way where we bring along communities. We remove inefficiencies around grid, and at the same time, we create a solution where we involve communities. So I feel this is a very, very interesting way where we bring along all the participants together and make a very cohesive solution. The other thing which I feel is very, very important is, from the policy perspective, CP 2030, great idea. We have been looking into that for the last 2 years. And then this is something which is, even today I was talking to some of my team members that, when can we put next project in the UK up for construction? And they said that, with Ofgem coming in with some regulations, there is a delay with that. Then there's a 56-day timeline. Then after that, there is another discussion process. So maybe by this year end, we may not have a clarity of when we can put a project into construction. So some of these elements and I understand there are 6,500 grid applications which Ofgem has to review. It's a very tedious process. It's a very bold step which the government has taken, that they want to really head along in this direction. But there's a lot, it's very complicated. You need a lot of industry participants to actually work around this. And people like ourselves, people like Ampere Energy, there are lots and lots of these developers, construction companies who really want to work with this government to actually bring around that. So I feel this is a great opportunity where we can collaborate more and then work it along in a very swift manner. The third thing which I want to really touch base here is, because we have a lot of Indian fellows coming here, why not bring a lot of participants and partnerships with India also here?
Politics Power and another sister company called Ampergia. My career started unfortunately in coal-fired power station, very dirty, and I spent more than 10 years. And I remember when I was actually doing my power engineering, my teacher said to me that, this coal thing, what we are trying to do is we are taking our ancestors out and burning them. It's not a good thing, and it stuck to my heart. And my my mind that this is not a good thing. And of course, traditionally, it's been the conventional power, coal, nuclear, gas, which is actually powering the world. There's no enough renewable energy. Obviously not, and they are uncertain, which is a reality. And the demand, industrialization, everything is growing very rapidly. So it's a catch-up game. But we can't give up. We need to do something. We need to start somewhere. And I think you touched upon innovation and AI. Can we actually do something to balance the demand and supply in a better way? And this sector is actually been left out because this is not very fancy. People don't look at this in more detail way compared to telecom, automobiles, and other sectors. Traditionally, this was actually left out. I mean, how many people actually know how to read the electricity bill?